Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Caves of Cud, where we find ourselves today safely ensconced in Gritgate, and I just realized our burrowing claws are still on. We're going to turn those off so that we don't accidentally disensconce ourselves. I don't know for sure what would happen, but I bet if you punch a big hole in the wall, the airship probably get pretty mad at you. And one thing I really would love not to do is get torn apart down here, because this place is like the only safe place in the whole damn wilderness. So there's a lot going on here. It's a little overwhelming. They got all kinds of strange tubes and wires laying all around the place, connecting to devices that probably have purposes. I couldn't, for the life of me, tell you what any of this stuff does, but I know it matters. They got all these little chromelings running around. Thatched together out of scrap metal, they teeter. What was the artist and maker thinking while banging metal into a likeness? They occupy a point between poles on several axes, halfway between chimp and human, halfway between child and adult. They are small, and there are shadows under their chrome cheek. So yeah, just little helpers running about. They're growing their own water vine and yuckweed and star apples down here, you know, for the porridge. What are you? You have a special chromeling, Shem 1. Shem has augmented their body beyond the chromeling's basic form by welding on a disymmetric ruffled coat of scrap metal. It's too big and grandiose for their little figure, but Shem shuffles about confidently, as if they expect to grow into it. Also, worth noting, chain laser emplacements just everywhere. Right now, we're all cool, everything's good, no reason to freak out. But if we did freak out, chain laser emplacements. Hey, what's up, Shem1? Where does it end? You're a chromeling that speaks? Can you understand me? Is this question a trick? Is this a question trick? I suppose I cannot know what you intend. Can I understand you? No, buddy, I just meant, like, if you're able to communicate, which it seems like, yeah. Oh, what kind words. It seems so with you, too. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm your friend, Shem. I am your friend, the incredible night tree. Okay, this conversation has been almost useless. Why are you called Shem 1? Would you like to hear? When I was first put together by father and friends, I was Shem 2. The second iteration of the Make Me project. As I came along, scampered through the halls, listened to the stories Neek read me, climbed into Spira Fusile's workbench to have my screws replaced, I realized I was not what I could be, and so I downgraded myself to Shem 1. That has happened 3 times. Are you worried that you're getting further away from your ideal self? It's unclear to me that I should be. Huh. You, tell you what, man, live and probably don't drink. Remain ever restless. Drinking, probably not great for you. Okay, let's go meet the crew. Over here we have Darty. The big airship is dusted with spice and wet with honeyed grease, and he smells of a melange, hot mushroom, cloying ink, saffron, and cooked tongue. And he's got a real badass sharp-edged cleaver. And a chain pistol for just in case. Darty addresses you without looking up from his many workspaces, many of which billow smoke, steam, or some unknown miasma. Welcome to my laboratory, the incredible night tree. Rest and sustain yourself before returning to your travels. Hey, the smell from that oven is indescribable. What you smell is Gritgate's signature dish. The porridge is a recipe passed down through generations of Barathromites, and it is the food that inspired me to pursue my craft. Yes, outsiders quail at the intensity of the scent, for its flavor is as bold as its effects. That is a little worrying. But we use cuisine to channel lightning from our bodies. Other recipes may let us breathe fire or learn the secrets of the eaters. The porridge is as precious a part of our legacy as the Barathrum clock or the Fominator. The Fominator. What is? Can I? We have no questions about this. So what are you working on now? Oh, it changes by the hour, sometimes the minute. Preserve this, observe that, add anything, taste everything. But the star apple of my eye, the spindle up which I cast my ambitious gaze, is edible vapor. Food that you eat, food that you breathe. Sadly, to date, the most I have managed is an herbed saline suspension. Salty air, if you will. Vapor and salt? Yes, the flavor, the breathability, all successful, but the barrier between flavor and food is in the calories, and they have yet eluded me. But it is only a matter of time. I am patient, and I am relentless. Cool, good luck then. Hey, do you know anything about Bethesda Souza by any chance? Ah, yes, I have braved its wharf in the past to gather precious convalescents for my experiments. Are you going? Dress warmly and mind the trolls. Oh, just like the internet. Alright, live and drink, food tinkerer. You seem to have stuff going on. I think we're not allowed into this chamber yet. That I remembered. Alright, let's go talk to some other Urshib, because there are definitely some other people here who will be of value to us. Here we have Q-Girl. She's an opal in the monochrome. Her hair is a quasar of red ochre and indigo in the blanched light of the workshop. Her cartilage is pierced by polyhedral rings that spin in antimony to the cave's simple geometry. Beneath the quills, her skin is decorated in furcate lines, fantastic elaborations on the patterns of discarded circuit boards. She's surrounded by apparatuses of her own creation. Through the harmony of those machines, she cuts a swath through the entropic brine that sizzles around her in a loudening chorus. She is the most, explicitly cyberpunk, at least in aesthetic, of the Barathromites. She is hated by the villagers of Hagashur for questioning the legitimacy of their hierarchies. Hell yeah, Q-Girl. Disliked by the villagers of Nakish for her queer appearance. I know how that goes. But admired by oozes, because who doesn't love a nice quantum mechanical model? Alright, what's up, Q-Girl? Ketzel, welcome to the workshop, friend. Sorry, I don't know if that's to be pronounced Ketzel or Quetzal. What does Quetzal mean? Oh, it's a word I say out of excitement. Sort of a semantic extension of the feeling I get when I see a Quetzal. Oh, a Quetzal is a pretty bird in the Trogon family. I tend to incorporate things I like into my idiolect. Hey, I thought of a cool thing to say. Your hair, I was just thinking about how your hair is a quasar of red ochre and indigo. Oh, Quetzal, thank you. What a poetic metaphor. You're a regular Shakespeare, aren't you? See, I think she says that to everybody, but it is especially appropriate due to the fact that we are an eloquent tree. Wow, there must be 100 gadgets here. What are you working on? Oh, Quetzal. A wave shortener for the shortwave detector, a frustum pulley for the ion lathe, a thrice retro-threaded M-band, and she continues, and presumably we lose track of the things she's saying because they are far too technical, and a dissertation on the illegitimacy of power. There it is. There's the questioning of the hierarchies. So, Otho informs me, not to steer you away from your work here, but Otho does inform me that you have a method for decoding this signal. Could you encode your instructions for the Beetle onto this disk? I do, brave friend. I'll imprint them now. Cool. Alright, a stamped data disk with Q-Girl's instructions. I don't feel like we really should have gotten XP for that, but whatever. By the way, your thirst is mine, my water is yours. I do not want to be friends with anybody who would despise Q-Girl. Okay, I also have secrets. I know about some forgotten ruins, and you're not going to believe this, some forgotten ruins. I learned it from my mushroom face. Have you met my mushroom face? Because do remember that we're walking around here with an extra mushroom face. We could learn to craft muskets. That doesn't seem super valuable. I would like to learn to craft more things, especially being able to craft a fancy gun. Seems like it would be rad. We learned the basics of tinkering from somebody, didn't we? But muskets I don't think are necessarily terribly interesting. Do we want Do we want secrets? We know a lot. Or we have a lot of reputation with the Barathramites. I don't know. I think we'll let that lie for the moment. All right, who else is around here to meet? Hey there. Well, first of all, what's your deal? Rodanus Y, deactivated. A giant is carpentered from large-scale scrap towed from the trash sea. Tailstock legs meet a great flanged torso at shimmed hips. Piston arms break at Y-pipe shoulders. And a bent pressing plate soldered with radio antenna delivers an empty stare. He's got a serrated tungsten carbide axe fist. That's pretty rad as far as weapons go. Jacobo here is small, and his face is small and shorn of all fur, and a gleaming silver rondure adorns his right ear. All his quills are trimmed to impeccable precision, and as everybody else, he's got some weird artifacts. What's your deal? Light shine through you, friend. Is that music coming from your loudspeaker? It sounds like a bell echoing in the void, backward through time. Yeah, do you like it? Sheba Hag and I composed it on a wave lathe. We made a series of songs about the birth and life of the Cassifessence. Together we call them Spun on the Cosmic Loom. Sheba Hag? Oh, Sheba Hagadius. She's the librarian at the Cathedral of the Six-Day Stilt. Words. Very challenging today. My water sister and cohort in Chrome. I wish we could share that we also are good friends, you know? I feel like we could earn some extra reputation here through mutual respect. So what is the Cassifessence anyway? Oh, beauty manifest, whose chromium shoals are awe itself. In my belief system, she's the being from whom all metal was birthed, out in the ever-void. There are pieces of her in every chrome belfry and every machine, even bits of her in our own blood. For me, her essence extends beyond mere metal. Anything that's ordered, she infuses. A poem, a mathematical proof, a clean workspace. You know, definitely not like Q-girls. Okay, so you're a mechanimist then? Well, of a sort, yeah. I'm part of a branch who deify the Cassifessence only. We believe the Argent Fathers to be earthly beings, important to the faith's early history, but not themselves divine. So it's such an interesting like Judaism Christianity split in this fake religion. I mean, fake religion. Oh, you know what I mean. Have you made other songs? Oh, many. This is my third collaboration with Sheba. Our first two collections were called Immaculate Chrome and Outside In. That's pretty cool. Man, you have so many data disks here. Oh, don't I know it. I've had to invent 8 separate systems of organization to manage them all. At the moment, I'm trying out a new one, Harmonices Spiralis. Spiral towers with heights increasing according to the harmonic series of numbers. It's fine. The problem is I'm always inscribing more disks and new contraptions and reverse-engineered artifacts. I mean, it's a good problem to have, I suppose. Hey, take a look, see if any interest you. I am absolutely going to do that. Hey, that chrome orb earring you're wearing, what's the meaning of that? Oh, it's the silver rondure. It's a mark of devotion to the Cassifessence. And what can you tell me about Gritgate? Oh, we're a vibrant community here. A circle of monks mapping the outer lattices of and raising viaducts where we need to. We remain secluded to protect ourselves. Otho and Barathrum insist on it. They are wise, and I defer to them. My collaboration with Sheba Hag does cause them worry, but they tolerate it. Bless their hearts. Okay, before we do any trade, hey, do you have any advice for entering Bethesda Souza? Oh, the Temple of the Rock is cut off from the wider world, and I hear the Mechanimist colonists no longer recognize High Priest Eshelstadt. That said, if you're favored by the Mechanimists, if you're welcome in their holy places, I've no doubt that Fine Hoshaya will grant you peaceful entry. Okay, he knows kind of a lot specifically about the place. Anyway, let's trade. Let's have a look here. So, ooh, laser rifle, spray-a brain. Beneath the metal shutter, a crystalline disc is grooved with microscopic pits that encode data. Creates Spray-A-Brain. If these walls could talk, well, you'll be able to answer that question, because the walls will be able to talk. You just spray sentience into things? Seems pretty rad. Scoped is just increased accuracy. I mean, that would not be a bad thing to be able to craft onto a weapon. Although it is a little silly to think that like you could be dual wielding pistols and actually taking advantage of scopes on them. But I think I will grab that if I can. So we have our Homo Electric wrist warmer, which it seems like we might actually get some use out of, so we probably shouldn't sell that. We could just make this trade for water straight up, right? And maybe should. I guess I don't really need this stuff. I gathered a bunch of weapons. These cybernetics credit wedges are worth a ton, but they're also very light. Speaking of things that are not light, we can probably afford to get rid of these. We probably don't need this, because if I was going to use a weapon for automatic fire, I would use the pair of chain pistols, right? So that is in fact going to gain us a bunch of money, which I don't know that I necessarily want. This lets you add resistance to heat and cold to an item. I mean, that might also be useful for us, actually. Empty injector is kind of a weird one, because I don't know how you would fill an injector with the appropriate thing. Like, I need salve injectors, right? Not just empty needles. And I have no idea how to make salve. I am sort of wondering if we should pick up one of these more advanced weapons. So the tinkering system is based on this system of bits. The string of letters and or numbers that you see after a thing's name is the bits that are required to construct it. So this would require a B, 2 C's, and a 4. And you get bits by disassembling things, including, like, you know, when we're running across like sort of technological junk, those fried capacitors and bent metal sheets and whatever, we can salvage those into a single bit each, I believe. The problem here is, like, none of these are super slam dunks because they won't work with our pistol skills, I believe. I guess we can check that. Actually, we don't see the weapon class of the grenade launcher. It's probably a weapon class all of its own, right? Well, no, because this would definitely be a bow/rifle weapon, and it doesn't say. But there's no way the grenade launcher is a pistol. So these won't really work with our ideal skills. Sorry, and also it's just like a lot. It would be a lot of money to put together. Okay, let's learn the things that we just picked up, though. We're gonna do some tinkering. It's gonna be great. Where in the heck is my cursor? I need it over here. Learn this. Oh, do I not have Tinker? I thought we had... Am I misremembering? Am I remembering a character who died? I totally might be. So we have Tinker. We have Gadget Inspector. We did not get Tinker 1, though. Tinkering, the skill group, is not Tinker 1. For which we would need 19 intelligence, which we do not have. Alright, well, I'm giving myself a goal here. We're going to learn how to read these data disks. We're going to make this work. Somehow, we're going to make this work. You only actually need 29 agility for all of the upgrades, right? So We'll get there. We will hold on to these prized possessions until then. Here we have Hortensa. Streaks of gray head hair and crunched skin around her eyes point to Hortensa's right sitting point on life's timeline. But her frame remains straight, her hands remain dexterous, and her muscles are full of figure and responsive. Her bearing is sharp and unsoftened with age. Her lips are pursed in the tension of rational thought. But she is comfortable. Her movements are unrushed. There are hints of joy and warmth in her face. They shine through the dense layers of tissue grown out of careful routine. Okay, what's your deal, Hortensa? Drink deeply of life, child. Are you finding your way? I mean, I guess so. Are you a liquid tinker? Hortensa chuckles. You are sharp, the incredible night tree. Yep, that's what people are always saying about me. In a way, that's what I am. But liquids are more willful than scrap. I can't solder them together. They would run away, hide in the shale cracks, slowly come apart and disappear. I more so think of myself as a wise woman in dialogue with them. I manage their moods and phases. My notebooks are full of their quirks and caprices. It's a wonder, isn't it, how at just the right temperature and pressure, the continuity of matter is smashed apart, how the gaseous butterfly flits out of the dense worm. I guess so. You're a lot more into liquids than I am. So, how long have you lived in Greatgate? Oh, years, decades on decades, centuries perhaps. Most of these wet-eared cubs were merely sketches in their mother's dream books when I arrived to study under Barathrum. And we knew so little then, and know so little now. Okay, so can you tell me about everybody else since you've been here forever? Well, I won't denigrate them, the incredible night tree. I do appreciate when people use the definite article, even if it's grammatically kind of awkward. Or presume to speak for what's in their hearts. But I can direct you around the contours they've left on me. Who would you like to hear about? Well, I'm actually pretty curious about this old Barathrum. Oh, larger than life, paternal, concerned. The lenses of his eyes are focused on the far points of the world. Okay, what's your read on Otho? Brassy. If you bent him, he might snap. The way I treat liquids on my burner, Otho treats the units of the Enclave. And Jacobo? Oh, sharp as a tack, and living a life of deep meaning. Inventive and orderly. I can't say I understand his music, but I do love how expressive he is with it. That's a very damning compliment. What about Sparafusile? Oh, I have such a precious vantage point on my sweet neighbor. When he achieves a moment of perfection in his craft, a flawlessly spiraled barrel, a mound of powder measured to the grain, he beams like the high salt sun. What a lovely smile. How about Q-Girl? She explodes like gas and dust in a quiet corner of the galaxy. Radiant. Revolutionary. She's a good listener and companion for supper, which you mightn't expect. Maffeo? Oh, after supper, I love to retreat to the library, take a storybook off the shelves, flop down on the chair bear, and lose myself in another world. Is the chair bear another bear creature that just likes to be sat on, or? Many of these worlds feature palaces, markets, gardens, ships. Many of those places have bells. When they do, I always think of Maffeo. More than anyone else, Maffeo could be a character in the bright world of a story, where this dusty place is itself confined to a mere storybook. Okay, what about Isepa, who I definitely recognize the name of? We might not have met Isepa yet. Our sleepy sage, so sweet. She calms me. I sit in her room and we muse on the nature of things. Okay, we definitely haven't met a Neek. I would remember Neek. Well, I've instructed Neek since they were a little cub. What a strange one. Bouncy, full of smiles, but brilliant in their own way. My favorite book in all the world is Neek's Spiderwebs on Hoversleds. Who would ever have thought? Where do they come up with this stuff? Dirty? Fiery, blustery, like the stews he cooks. If you're going to chat with him, make sure you have your schedule cleared and a ewer of honeyed wine. Hey, that was pretty close to an actual insult. We're finally breaking through our defenses. How about Shem 1? What's his deal? Precious Shem. They've such a wider view of the world than we do. What a momentous obligation we've created for ourselves, and how I wouldn't undo it. What about Aloysius, who is definitely real? Oh, I've shared my honey with that prickly troglodyte for more years than I can count. I can't help but like him, and while he won't admit it, he feels the same about me. That's weird. Alright, what about Ereshkigal? She's a sphinx. So enigmatic, that one. It's not entirely clear if she was there waiting when Q-Girl succeeded at retreading the mainframe's guts, or if she sparked into being that very moment. Or was it some synthesis of the two? Okay, that's a lot of information that's not necessarily going to be easy to take advantage of. I'm not going to lead with you. Your hair is so gray. How about this? Do you know anything about Bethesda Souza? Asking for a friend. Well, there are pools of convalescence there. You see, when cryogenic mist condenses, it forms a cool, luminous liquid that's restorative if you're able to bathe in it. Oh, and in one of the ruined wards, the alchemist keeps their shop. Who's the alchemist, you ask? A sort of enigmatic figure. Amateur liquid tinker, poet, merchant. Their methods aren't scientific, but they are useful if you're seeking a specific kind of liquid. Just be careful around them, the incredible night tree. Okay, thanks. Yeah, live and drink. Actually, Tab, do you have anything fun for sale? Hard to say. We can at the very least look at these. In 1592, Omasp II had her legitimacy challenged by a pretender over an ordinance mandating the practice of taking measurements. She won and had the aspirant tried, but pardoned. She was 71 years old. That seems like a really strange thing to do. Sorry, no, I don't want your bottle of blood. I just want to see the engraving. Deep in the wilds of Alorsur, Omasp stumbled upon a clan of crabs performing a secret ritual. Because of her frigid eyes, they furiously rebuked her and declared her a villain to their kind. Well, you know. Who among us has not, at one point or another, been declared a danger and a traitor to crabkind? The problem is they're just too damn delicious. In my opinion, a creature ought to try not to be so delicious. Hey, it's Sparafusile. Extra long and slender fingers poke the micrometer lengths necessary to adjust a sight lens or set the oscillator on a vibro hilt. He then turns his attention to you as you approach, to watch and read your speech. Hey, it kind of sounds like you might be the person who's really knowledgeable about weapons around here. Sparafusile nods. Hey, buddy, greetings. Sparafusile raises one long-fingered hand in greeting. You're a bear of few words. Sparafusile places a closed fist over his mouth, then taps his ear, then muzzle with one long finger. Oh, you are unable to hear or speak. Smiling a bit, Sparafusile nods. Well, I do feel that's a little embarrassing for me. How is your condition a result of your work? Maybe we shouldn't talk about it. I am curious, though. Sparafusile shakes his head. Oh, your condition is lifelong? Sparafusile nods. Well, thank you for your clarity and patience, Tinker Friend. With a small smile of gratitude, Sparafusile taps his chin with a flat hand and lowers it toward you like a drawbridge. If I might change the subject. Let's trade. So, an Eigen rifle data disk. Definitely not a thing we would be able to build. Yet requires Tinker 2. Perpendicular to the neon azure barrel is a square-plated scope inset with a large ocular lens. The sight through the lens distorts as the gun tilts, but the vector drawn remains unchanged. And unfortunately, although it doesn't say it here, you can guess from the name, this is a rifles and bows kind of thing. What we can get from you, I suppose, is some ammo. I'll pay a dram of water for that. Alright, live and drink, harm artisan. Spare Fusile makes an L shape with both hands, thumbs facing down and fingers pointed toward one another, before flipping both hands so his thumbs face up. He then raises a closed fist to his mouth, thumbs out, and mimes drinking from it. This done, he nods once more and turns his back to the work. Or to his work, although it's not really present at this moment. Here we have a becoming nook. A rectangle of Nutrifoam imprinted with the human form hangs beneath an arch of glass. Across the foam at eye level, glyphs loop on an elliptical screen. Surgical machinery, obscured by blinding light, beetles out from the underside of an enclosing dome. So I believe if you are a cybernetics character, becoming nooks are how you install new cybernetic parts. Obviously, we do not benefit from such thing. Hey, Maffeo, how's it going, buddy? You remember me? Hey, do you know anything about Bethesda Souza? Bethesda Souza? Well, lovely, but a bit dangerous for a holiday destination. You'll want to bring bandages and warm clothing. Why not take a look at my stock in case something suits you? Yeah, okay. That is a sales pitch that totally works. Wow, that's a lot of extra ammo. Obviously, I will take it all, in case that was not clear. It does feel like if we're hoping to learn to tinker, a toolkit seems important, right? When powered, this item greatly increases the chance of identifying artifacts and recovering additional bits when you disassemble them. When unpowered, it functions as a basic toolkit, mildly increasing the chance of recovering additional bits. Well, it's probably not what we're looking for. It'll be a while before we can make much use of anything like that. Do I want to grab another water skin or something? We're carrying around a lot of liquids now. You know what? I will take one. I will pony up 32 drams of water for this plus all of those bullets. Okay. So I'm a little disappointed that we weren't able to acquire some kind of upgrade, but then again, I don't know what I would consider to be an upgrade at this point. Like, we haven't actually seen a pistol. The chain pistols are nice and everything, and obviously throwing more bullets at something is more chances to kill it, but the individual shot stats of the chain pistol aren't really that different from the revolvers. Right, there's a way to do this. Yeah, we'll do this thing. So there we go. So yeah, you can see it's got one more point of penetration, same damage die, same low accuracy class. It's not really worth equipping, honestly, except if you know you're in a situation where you're about to need that level of firepower. Okay, I think we might have exhausted a lot of the interesting stuff we can get up to. I'm not allowed through this door. Yeah, for the moment, until they like us better and trust us better, I think we're probably about done here. And unfortunately, I am going to have to tend to something in real life real quick, so I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. It's getting to be so a person can't sit still and play video games for an hour anymore. What's the world coming to? So I went and looked up our reputation with the mechanimists. We're generally positive. Aggressive ones will still attack us, and we're not welcome in their holy places right now. I think, if I remember correctly, the threshold for them being that cool with us, cool enough to let us into their holy places, is 600 points, I think. So we're pretty far off. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what to do to gain the amount of reputation we would have to gain in order for them to welcome us into their whatever. And that's obviously like a pretty distant concern, because before we can even worry about getting into the compound at Bethesda Souza, we have to actually like get into Bethesda Souza, and I don't believe that's going to be a trivial thing to do. So I'm a little worried. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried. I think it might be wise for us to adventure a little bit more, just kind of explore, look for some ways to level up in particular. You know, I'm thinking moving toward having enough intelligence to do tinkering would probably be a cool idea. What if we knew more about machines? So we're just gonna crawl up to the surface here, and then there are a couple of places that we know about that I was a little nervous to go before, that I think we are maybe a little bit better suited for at this point. In particular, there is this, right? The Markalep Arboretum. I think let's go check that out. Maybe get lost in the jungle a little bit, a tiny little bit, but for the most part, go check out a cool new thing. What is this down here? There is Kyakukya, and then there's also a Goatfolk village and some kind of meaningful ruin down in that tile. That's interesting. Also, is this something that we had? Oh, this is just a dromad. Okay. We have a lot of things marked on our map, but most of them are just, you know, some garbage we ran into while we were lost. Hold on, have we been to this? Mibal? Oh, right, this little village. Yeah, okay, I remember Mibal now. All right, we don't need to be here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go to Kyakukya. So I don't believe we can. Oh no, okay, we can cross the river Svai. What's going on in here? Are we, first of all, like, are we cool? How do the people in Kyakukya feel about us? Very tough. I mean, you're a warden, so right, you're on warden reputation. Beneath a mane of coarse hair, Warden Indrix's lips move without issuing forth any sound, perhaps in the formation of a litany invoked in the name of the vengeful god he serves. The coarse hair grows in an uninterrupted mass down his torso, that of a human, but broader and more taut with muscle than any man's, disappearing only behind the sash of his kilt. But for Mayor Nuntu and the warden himself, no one knows the circumstances of Indrix's estrangement from his kin, for no one dares mention it lest they draw the warden's ire. I was going to say, we have not had great experiences with Goatfolk so far, but he is, of course, a pariah. One of his great curling horns has been cleanly cloven from his head, however. That same horn, along with several others, hang from a belt slung low about Indrix's hips, giving him the distinction of being the only warrior to bear his own appendage as a trophy. I mean, that feels like a business we could get into if we wanted to, right? Okay, so we're probably cool here. It seems unlikely that people will just murder us out of nowhere. This is a sign, a stone columnary. This object is a monument to a scene from the history of Kyakukya. In 979, Nuntu, the legendary albino ape, grew tired of bludgeoning things to death and journeyed to a root-strangled place on the river Svai. There he came upon Kyakukya and its inhabitants. The villagers of Kyakukya asked Nuntu to employ his magisterial skills and lead the village. Not the sort of thing that most albino apes are really known for. But this is what makes him legendary, right? This is why he's special. Hey there, Warden Indrix. First of all, I really like the reputations that you've accumulated. I would love some of those for myself. All right, Fellowship of Wardens back up to 250. And pariahs and the villagers of Kyakukya. And Goatfolk already hate us so much, I don't see how that could possibly matter. Ooh, we could learn Intimidate. I will absolutely tell you about a place where there's a bunch of Goatfolk. And also A different Goatfolk village? We will not tell him about Belad. That feels like, ooh. We might be able to get a little bit more Warden rep. Maybe we could bring Warden Indrix with us into Bethesda Souza. Just, you know, make things a little bit more survivable. I actually really like that idea. Yeah, we're 350. So I think we probably didn't give secrets to the Warden in Joppa, right? Because we didn't know anything then. So that might be enough to get us where we're going. I think that's going to be the plan. Also, check out these wood sprogs. A body time fit to living in the smalls of spiral roots is kept warm by a layer of symbiotic moss fur. Bright eyes scan the forest points and then soften toward the stars. Hey, what's your deal, buddy? Let's trade. All you have is mushrooms, I guess. Okay, I guess I shouldn't be shocked by that. That's kind of your deal. All right. Well, look who it is. A toga wraps his hulking bright fur frame, and a broad brim shades his wise and wide-set eyes. A sedentary life has sapped some of his ape strength. Burly shoulders slouch their weight onto a walking stick. A belly swells the linen around his waist, and plump sloping cheeks rim a warm and welcoming grin. How do words work, you know? So, loved by the villagers here, disliked by the villagers of Nakish for stealing a cherished heirloom, admired by the Mopango for worshipping the same deities, don't remember who those are, and hated by the villagers of Hagashur for questioning the origins of the moon. How dare he? Well, once again, I do like that set of reps, so we're just going to help ourselves. Alright, my water is yours, your thirst is mine. I am now favored by the Mopango. It turns out they kind of liked us already, apparently. And, you know what? I got secrets, buddy. Secrets do I ever have. Also, you want to know about Octogram Not Tukesh? I don't even know what that is, but apparently there's that for you. You know what? I will learn your special dish. I don't even know what it does, but collecting recipes is a good idea. Some of them are very powerful. Alright, live and drink, water brother. Be ape still and muse, wanderer, and welcome to my village, Kyakukya. Have some mulled mushroom cider. Yeah, hey, have you heard news of Gerslings on Cud's surface? The water vine farmers of Joppa confirm it is true. I mean, I personally confirm it is true. As far west as Joppa, you say? Oh, grim. Yes, we found the remains of pale things in the mouth of Svi. Does the gyre widen again? Boy, I wish we could ask him more questions about that. That feels like relevant information. What can you tell me about Kyakukya? We're watered by the river spray. We pluck the fruit of the wood and we hunt. The worshippers of Oborukoru whittle and brood, too. They will pay you no mind unless you ask of them. Here you can be with friends or muse alone. If it's trade goods that interest you, take a gander at Ural's ware in the northwest corner. The odd one crow songs, too, if you can scry them in the bush. I must warn you, however, cast no villain's shadow on these grounds. Warden Indrix will be watching. Yeah, who's Ural? Oh, Ural is a harmless cucumber vine. They came to Kyakukya a few years ago after the last consortium chandler, a wicked little hyacinth named Plysago, suffered something of an accident. In Tarotep's defense, Plysago shouldn't have berated someone with claws so close in resemblance to pruning shears. At any length, Ural stocks a plethora of goods. You will be satisfied with your visit. Okay, that's... Apparently there's some sharp claws in the village to watch out for. Who's Crowsong? Oh, another of our dwellers. I won't speak to what Crowsong's deal is. Best you find them and ask yourself. Okay, and what about Indrix? All right, the Warden. I know this. Warden Indrix is one of the most ferocious warriors I've ever met. Once upon a time, he and his brothers gorged themselves on the flesh of beasts by starlight, but now I count myself lucky to call him my Warden. Some believe he is of sour kind, though I assure you, he is but a victim of his goatish nature. All right, well, I don't love that, but Is there work to be found here by any chance? Things you need doing? A water hand you are. Speak to my friend and warden Indrix. You'll find him patrolling the village. Okay. It's true. I did see that question in Indrix's dialogue tree, and I did not bother to actually do it. You know what? Let's auto explore. I think Indrix has gone to bed. We maybe want to be chill about that for the moment. Seems like a nice enough little village. Another stone columbary. Under the beetle moon, folks settled here to gather goods of passage for Ape's sad Oborukoru, and so Kyakukya was founded. Oborukoru. This is the second time that particular great ape has been mentioned. And we see a statue over here surrounded with flowers. Okay, there's kind of a lot of interesting creatures wandering around. Hold on. Okay, a worshipper of Oborukoru. And here, a statue. This stone idol of Oborukoru stands 20 spans tall. Its nameless sculptor chose to depict the ape god sitting cross-legged with each of his 3 pairs of gargantuan arms grasping each other. The idol is swathed in vines, its caretakers ceding to nature, save where the herbage has threatened to obscure Oborukoru's gentle countenance. Wreaths of flowers of every hue the forest begets, azure, chartreuse, indigo, carnelian, litter the base of the shrine, insignificant offerings to what appears to be a callous god. Boy, that feels like a big sort of assumption. So this is Rhymewick, right? Yep, just a friendly Rhymewick hanging out, worshiping an ape. As these things go. Wait, is this not... it is a low wall of sandstone. Weird. Oh, this is like their well. They have a lot of fresh... I'm not going to take their fresh water. I feel like that is that's a pretty cruel thing to do. And it's not like we're doing badly, right? Ciderer era. Clearly as nimble as other wood frogs, but they bear the telltale marks of age and hurt at the edges. The fur about their sea-wide eyes is white now and threads the crow lines on their face. A patch of shoulder rises skin-bare and pebbled with the memory of fire and steam. Finally, their apron, caked with ingredient viscera, clatters with ladles and tankards of carved chitin. I assume you would sell us cider. Be nimble, wayfarer, taking a draught of cider before leaving. I will never... It is so hard for me to read that word as draft. I have no idea why. Why is the cider chunky? Oh, that'd be the mushrooms. Bit hardier, eh? Why would you put mushrooms in cider, though? Bit hardier, eh? Okay, no, you're right. I'm the stupid one. That's me. Hey, is that a Naphtali mask over there? Was Naphtali once, but not anymore. Aye, quit. Lost most of my minion to Goatfolk. The sower's eye fell upon us, and so we fell too. Sorry, what's a minion? Pilgrims, drawn together by need and awe and inspiration. Tinkers and sodders and guards and scouts, alloyed under the pressure of life's work. Family-like. Well, what became of your godhead? Don't know. Wrecked? Fled? I crawled away, never looked back. That's the all of it. Huh. Well, may their memories bless you, I guess is the thing that I have learned is polite to say. As the very canopy they will. Thank you. Yeah, let us speak of something else. Trade, please. Ooh, roasting adorned foods. That's a recipe book. That's a thing of actual value. It is very expensive. It's always a shame when you find something of actual value and the other person knows that it's of actual value. We have some recipe that calls for yuckweed stems, don't we? It might be fermented yuckweed stems that it calls for, but maybe we should pick these up anyway. And then, honestly, like, knowledge is maybe one of the like things that I'm really most interested in at this point. So I do want to hold on to these books until we go back to the stilt. I forgot to give these to Shibo while we were there last time, I believe, and we definitely do want to do that. I mean, we could trade for these, right? Trade for our cybernetics credit wedges, or I guess maybe just one of them, and 40 drams. We have at this point like a fair amount of money. We could, yeah, we should probably head back to the stilt at some point relatively soon, because we do have. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. We do have trade goods, and we might be able to make ourselves even more powerful somehow, if you can imagine such a thing. Okay, broth with brine flatbread. 1 dram of salt, guaranteed to be tasty, if eaten while hungry. Minced meat with velvety salt, life brisket, and cake, made of bear jerky, soul curd, and salt. Whenever you use a salve or Uber Nostrum injector, you get plus 30 to 40% max HP for an hour. That's interesting. Slime Mott's Donut, a serving of vine wafer sheaf and a dram of slime to thirst at half rate, and give you functional slime glands. That's neat. And then a different recipe involving the same ingredients, chopped slime on top of diced vine wafers. It turns out it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. It's like Taco Bell. We have these 3 ingredients. Here's the 8 different things you can make with them. They're all going to have the same effect on your digestive system. So, you know, go nuts, I guess. All right. Reasons that we might want to pick up some other types of things to carry around in our water skins. So what is this? This is a dream krungle. That is the most cud word I've ever heard. Anchor shanks wet with a nameless slick do a stubborn glomming onto the ground. Who among us has not done a stubborn glomming? A saucer rife with nubs bends upward, and sitting inside it, a steamy globe gurgles sounds of the other world. There are processes at work on these moist and inner clouds, but their rules are locked beyond knowledge. Weird. What a weird thing. And it's just sitting there. And it's ranked, it is rated as an impossible combat opponent. Oh, okay, this is the spot where that Naphtali mask is hanging. I see. Here are several stripped trunks of sallow brinestock, bonded with mud. Hung against them from a quartet of nails is a frayed mothwing mask. Its delicate leaves of rust plaster are crocheted with nanoweave and stretched across an armature of stiff wire. Where eyes once peered and a mouth breathed, resin now fills the gaps. So I don't actually know what the deal is with the Naphtali and their godheads or whatever. Our character clearly knows more about it than I do. Okay, Indrix isn't in here anymore. He's hanging out over here by these trees. Indrix, buddy. I'm in search of work. Grah! There is but I like to think we just surprised him. He was just like gazing out to the west, thinking deeply about things in the night, and we sneak up, and he's just like, Grah! Okay, there's one task I know to offer. It is most treacherous, and in all likelihood you will perish. Is your interest waned? I mean, I kind of feel that way about a lot of things. Continue. There is a river just south of the village that runs an eastwardly course into the jungle. It turns out all the words in the sentence are important. Along its bank lies a Goatfolk village. There resides a mighty shaman, Mammon Soul Drinker. He is in possession of a talisman of great power, an amaranthine prism that refracts the psyche of its handler in much the same way as Mayor Nuntu has explained to me. A common prism refracts light. The thing is cursed, traveler. No man or goat may safely wield it for long. You must travel to the village and retrieve the prism from Mammon by any means necessary. Do you understand? Why? How is it that I'm not allowed to ask why we want this? I guess we just don't want Mammon to have it. Well, why don't you go get it yourself? Because, traveler, Mammon is my elder brother. He would discern my presence before I could strike. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Is there anything else I should know? There is. Firstly, Mammon will likely have several goatfolk under his enthrallment, and they will protect him at all costs. Secondly, take care to stay out of Mammon's reach, for his power is most potent when he may lay hands on you. Okay, we're pretty good at that. Finally, once you recover the prism, do not under any circumstances wield it. I needn't warn you of the consequences should you return to me bearing that charm. That is all. Are you willing? I think I am willing. Raising Indrix. And this, I guess, is fine wares from the consortium of Phyta. You are the person? You are indeed. Ural, a sentient cucumber vine. Myriad wares rest on oaken shelves throughout the room, and with their tendrils, Ural exhibits them to interested customers by crawling along an iron trellis. You notice that Ural creeps toward products almost before you think of them. The gift of telepathy affords the sprightly vine a distinct advantage as a chandler. Okay. Nothing weird about that. I'm a talking tree. Friend! Guns, knives, hats, cucumbers? I would love some guns. Let's do business. First of all, the Murmur's Prayer. I don't think I know what's in that book. Alright, well, I mean, obviously, my initial instinct is to grab all the bullets. What else do you have that might be interesting? Kind of not a lot, honestly, except that I'm sort of curious about this book. Okay, no text on the front or back that would help me know what is inside of it. It seems important, or it's just a thing I don't know about, and that's all it takes for me to think a thing is important, because I'm like that. That's probably right. That's probably what's going on here. Yeah, I guess so. I don't really need this way droid anymore, right? I don't think we're in that place. I'm going to hold on to my collection of scrap because at some point we're going to disassemble this stuff. Want to hold on to our gemstone. Like, the gemstones are not the first things you want to sell, right? You want to sell your heavier stuff first. I want to keep a couple of torches around for throwing reasons, just to create points of light in the darkness. So we're getting a little bit low on just like extra heavy stuff. We could sell this missile, but then again, if I find a missile launcher, I will be happy to have it. So we might be at the point where we start to sell, I guess I have these glow spheres. Yeah, I'll do this. Give me 21 drams of water. All right. This book, I bet, is going to turn out not to be valuable at all, but I must know. Editor's note. The following is an excerpt from the travel diary of Kaylin Sandshell, who generously donated her leather-bound volumes to the Monastery of the Illustrious Heart of Chrome. May they remain forever preserved. In the outposts of the Putus Templar, the Order's core values remain immutable as anywhere else. Dedication to a family tree as tall and unbranching as Cud's spindle, complete subjugation of those they consider lesser, and the total eradication of mutant sapience. Less immutable in those border colonies are the cultural trappings around that core belief, as so often is the case with occupied territories. During my travels, I noted a recurring mythology in the ruins of Udin's abandoned outposts north of the Sunderlies. Cut off from contact with their home in a similar manner to the Temple of the Rock, these settlements established a new holy day of merriment and punishment to keep the flock pliant. The least favorite of an outpost's squires, so it is said, would be subdued the evening before the festival, forced upon the morning into a costume meant to be a mockery of the imagined mutant threat, and bade to entertain their might-determined betters. Upon the festival's conclusion, the crowd's most hated murmurs would be paid with public humiliation, beatings, and possibly torture, if we are to believe every account. The ritual describes a kind of uniform, trash cape, bone helm, and musical instrument. Though persistent across the scant records of the practice, I found few details, and most carvings of the murmurs were crude and varied a great deal. My frustrations found themselves alleviated earlier than expected, however, when I happened at last upon the legible remains of a festival diptych. The wood of the monument itself, never built for longevity, had long since fallen apart. However, clay runoff from the roof's poor insulation baked under the salt sun, providing me with a relief of the text and some insight into the real-life costumes worn at the Murmurs Festival. And there's a rubbing of the diptych on the following page. You, least among the digits at the end of Odin's mighty arm, servants most faithless and failing. Tonight you are no sons and daughters, but only humanity's dying murmurs. Doff your tabards now, and carry instead the detritus of the unreclaimed over your back. Spare us the shameful sight of your faces now. Cover them with bone and horn of prey. Take up an instrument now, and play us a tune. If you murmurs do not please, you will be paid most painfully. So yeah, those guys suck. That was not actually super useful, I guess, but it was very interesting. Okay, that's a fake plant. That's furniture. Not like this cucumber. Fine. This guy's important, obviously. So we were told there was another merchant, but that they were weird and that they had to be found, I guess, was the suggestion. Is this a unique sprite? No, okay, it is a different sprite than the other trees, but I guess actually they're all a little different, aren't they? No, maybe those two are... They're slightly different, I think. Huh. Okay, well... There are these hammocks over here as well. Oh, hi. An ogre ape and worshipper of a Burukuru. A boar and worshipper. Yeah, lots of people here to pay homage to the shrine. Oh, hello. What's your deal? Crow song. Someone is swaddled in the fleece of life and death. Grass, fern, and moss grow on or are the svelte figure's clothes, and mushroom caps are the buttons and fasteners. A lyra pipe of needlepoint ivory curtains their face, hornholds round their waist, and peeking through the canopied shoulder are the carved hilts of sword twins. A light obfuscating lens. A couple of weird artifacts, which I guess are the swords. Hey there, what's your deal? Oh, we're being quiet. Okay. I mean, I could do this for a very long time. Nothing. Okay. Hey there, why are you hiding in this bush? Hiding, no. Being grass. The feeling of animate being. Radiate inward like a turned-out star. Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm a tree. Who are you? Crow song, death wonder, a colony of ants eating me. The leaves, the light, and thereon. Sure, those are really nice swords. Where'd you get those? Tugged from the claws of one who had become a cord in time's silly carpet. I outrooted the hilts and sheathed the blades, and now I am he. I still have the nail dirt. Yeah, okay. Do you have anything to trade, my man? The answer is yes. Actually, he has some really interesting food type items, and some of this, and some stuff that I bet is going to be pretty warm. Yeah, minus reputation with apes while wearing an ape fur cloak does make sense. But we probably want that, right? The ape fur gloves give another 10 cold resistance. How much do we get from our... here's the thing. I don't actually know what we need. How much do we get from our wrist warmer? 8. Okay. Well, let's say I wanted all this stuff. Can I wear gloves? Hold on a second. Am I able to wear... Yeah, I got gloves on. I was worried about my claws, you know? But I guess we can wear gloves. So... it's pretty expensive. But we're going to a place that we've been told is very cold. So we can sell off the rest of the glow spheres. Singular, glow sphere. And then at this point we're probably like, yeah, probably move in some of the gemstones. I think we want to probably sell some water too, just because like the amount of water we're carrying has us really close to our weight limit. If I did this, we'd give you about 100 grams of water. That honestly might be a good idea. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, so we have some good cold weather gear now. Thanks a lot for that. I did not remember that this was the place to come to for that stuff. But I did remember that we had come here in the past playthrough for some reason at some point. Maybe it was now? I don't know. Maybe it was the sort of a similar coincidence in the sense that like it's just a moment when I'm afraid to go to the mission, so looking for useful things to do. Let's go to Trapezis to Kesh instead of straight to the Goatfolk village. The wind begins blowing at a strong breeze from the south. Oh yeah? I'm going to step south. Very gentle breeze from the north. Weird. Okay, I don't know what to make of that. These trees are actually collision blocking. Obviously, we can deal with that. A tree is going to be no match for the burrowing claws. What is on this table? Oh, shit. Free water skins. Hell yeah. All right. Lots of pretty chill apes and salamanders and whatnot. Everybody's having a good time, except this guy, who is running directly at us. Oh, right. I was going to go get the warden. Well, whatever. We'll worry about that later. I was going to go back to Joppa, potentially give stuff to the warden there, give secrets to the warden there. Oh, Gershlings. Ah, we hit it and then it burrowed into the ground. So who knows where it will be now. Alright, just keep slicing these giant amoebas. You wouldn't think a knife would be terribly effective. Aha! Books. Hell yeah, books. Oh, let's bask for a second here. The bonus quickness is really significant. I need to make sure we have this buff as much as possible. Again, more books. Wonderful news. Yeah, this stop off was hugely worth it already. That rules. Free copper nuggets. What are you? Okay, a chain coif and a weird artifact. Well, I guess let's have a look. Oh, it was a sniper rifle. Like, this is necessarily the case, right? It has to just say weird artifact. But in my mind, every time we think weird artifact, I think we're picking up, like, something handheld, right? Because most of them are most of them turn out to be grenades or ejectors or whatever. So it is a little funny to me when we when we gain a sniper rifle. Very high accuracy, 11 penetration. Pretty decent weapon. The damage class of the dice is only a single tick above the stuff that we're currently wielding, but remember that with the extra penetration value, it will hit for that amount more times per attack. All right, let's use our claws to rip through the fencing over here because shit is in my way. Is there stuff on this? Examine this trinket. It's a salt mill. Whatever. Take it. And then we got turrets. And I heard the chirp. You see that? Something chirps to the southwest. That is the sound of the turret acquiring you as a target. So these things are not deactivated. These are live. The question is, do we want to run in and try to quill spray them to death before they can destroy us? because we do have the opportunity to start quite close to them here. And at the very least, we could probably get a bunch of bullets, right? All right. Perhaps unwisely. I'm going. Oh. These are chain gun turrets. Quills? Ow. Quills. That is so much damage. Quills. Okay. That was perhaps unwise. We got a lot of XP from taking those down. Oh, I tried to reload. I didn't do any damage. No, I don't want that. I do want the lead slugs. It looks like we didn't leave anything else behind. I destroyed the chain guns. That's a real shame. I would love to have looted those chain guns. I guess let's rest until healed. Stupid collision blocking trees. Yeah, so that was a lot of damage we took very quickly there. I find these trees that get in the way to be very annoying. Hopefully none of the tree-based organizations in the game will take issue with me doing this, because, you know, I'm a tree myself. Of all people, I know what a bunch of assholes we can be. Oh, hold on, there's a light over here, which makes me wonder if there's also stuff. Nope, just some lights. Oh, what's in here? Well, first of all, it's painted. The life of the ancient Sultan Utafa. While on a trek through Alarsur, Utafa's chariot was driven off a cliff by a nefarious company of mysterious strangers. She was killed at 66 years old. I feel like that's a familiar story. Wasn't one of our other sultans killed in a very similar way? Okay, the beetles and the apes are fighting down there. I don't really have any interest in getting involved with that. What is this other wall made of? Resin extruded by Shugruith spawn. Okay. Well, we can dig through the resin very easily. As to whether it's a good idea to get that, like, in and under our big nails, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's a health hazard. Tree? Get out of my way. Okay, I think we may have, oh, sadly, empty bookshelves. We may have pulled all of the value out of this place. Apparently there are some of those spikes around here as well. What is this? The corpse of a leech that's been here probably for quite some time. Okay, that's just walls. Very strangely built walls. But okay, yeah, I'm like very glad we stopped off here. This was a lot of extra books. And also bullets. And also resting until healed. So there are a couple of other marks in the area. Keysor Diamond is over there. There's this whole lake area, which I don't know. Was that on the map before? I think this map may have been expanded eastward since I last played. I don't remember all the stuff that's over on this side. There's Tebuan, which is something. Inside a nebula of spores and beneath a kaleidoscope of shrooms, here stretches the ancient province where the eaters admired their strange flora. Weird. There are markers up here as well. Ruins that we do not know anything about. And up there, Manamore. Flooded by Sphe's gushes and under the chrome carcasses of giants. Here stretches the ancient province where disputes and verbal contests were fought. Huh. Okay, that's an interesting thing. My inclination is to just kind of like wander around and hit a lot of these procedurally generated areas, and maybe eventually we can worry about the quest we were given. Oh, but I do want to try to do the Joppa thing. Let's see if we can do the Joppa thing right now. Should be easy enough to walk back there. And once again. You know, I should have checked my stats and stuff. I guess now we got to deal with Snapjaws. Are we getting any XP for these kills at all? 5. Okay. Hardly even worth doing. Regained our bearings immediately. Lost our bearings immediately. Regained our bearings immediately. There are hostiles nearby. Come on. There's a small number of Snapjaws. I do not fear these Snapjaws. Oh, wait. That's an artifact. Huh. Yeah, give me that. Okay, let's just remove ourselves from the vicinity of the ones shooting arrows at us. Good enough? Yes, good enough. Oh, I don't know why I pressed up. Ruins nearby. New ruins? Tile Dugapur. Uh-oh. What manner of turret are you, friend? A musket turret, and a member of the desiccated Shade sect. Well, if it's just a musket, it's probably not actually that dangerous. We still get 375 XP for killing it. It's pretty significant. You guys also hostile because you're members of this sect? Yeah, but you're not, like, worth a bullet. What about that dude? Okay, I'm a cannabis pilgrim, but also a member of this sect. So if we let them surround us like this... Oh, is this Dromad? Okay, not a real Dromad caravan, so probably we'll be fine here. I'm hoping nobody's going to get terribly upset about the quill spray I'm about to do. Because it is going to kill everybody. Oh, a copy of the Canticles Chromaic. Thanks for that. And then, of course, a quill spray for all of you. Some lead slugs, I'll take those. There sure are a lot of members of this sect. There's musket turrets all over the place, but, like, this is not a very dangerous group. I could definitely see this being a total nightmare if we had encountered them early, before our armor value got so high. We're not penetrating that Dromad's armor. What is he wearing? I'm trying to make sure that they all have a chance to gather around me here. Come on, y'all. Ooh, multiple turrets. Okay. Managed to kill the one I wasn't aiming at. Gosh, I really just can't shoot that far away, huh? Alright, well, quills. These Dromads are surprisingly tough. They're not, like, doing damage to us, but they're also not dying very quickly. Yeah, Crysteel and Folded Carbide are finding little purchase against this armor. And all they're leaving behind is just corpse. They're not dropping armor. Oh, I do need to reload. Look at how bad my aim is. Alright, we'll just run over here. How dare you? Quills. Alright, I don't actually even want the musket. We'll take all the bullets. So we don't need to fight a bunch of musket turrets necessarily. Okay, chrome revolver. Is at least worth selling. A statue of Gersh Khan. A god swan sits in stone grace with its gigantic kite train furled to a dizzying gyre. She wears a blank and unreadable expression to evoke the carver's sense of her as uncertainty's incubus. Generations of moss skirt the beast's down feathers. Huh. Yeah, copper nugget, and we'll take a bandage too. I certainly don't need 1,000 garbage arrows, but definitely enough stuff to have been worth stopping off here. Salty water, of course. It might be worth it for me to keep a little bit of salty water in a in a water skin just because we have now a couple of recipes that rely on drams of salt. I'm actually just going to turn these things off manually. Okay. Y'all want to get in on it too? Quills for everybody. Gosh. It really is a lot of enemies here. Okay. Wow. We are low enough on quills that our armor value is down. And they are still alive somehow. Okay, definitely wanted to make sure that we were getting all of the bullets though. So, there's for sure more room. Why am I not picking these bullets up automatically? Weird. There's for sure more room inside this building. This structure is not mapped yet. I don't need your furs. Oops, that's not what I was trying to do. Okay, I mean, it's entirely possible that these Fulcrete areas here are just Fulcrete within. In fact, I would say probable. But at the same time, I would like very much to dig in. Yeah, okay, there's probably not rooms in there. Alright, it did seem like there was another structure to the west. Let's check out these ruins. That's a door to nowhere. A thirst thistle. Okay, so these things are super annoying because they like shoot projectiles at you that drain your water. Projectiles that make you thirsty. Okay, a couple of vine wafers. Not really worth coming in here, I think. Even more vine wafers. In that case, in a bottle, according to the art. Which is a weird way to store them, I suppose. Oh. And walking onto the next screen, we immediately discovered the workshop of a legendary hatter. There is so much stuff going on in CUD. Are you this hatter? No, you're just a member of the desiccated shade sect who's looking for vengeance. Well, I'll take your book, I guess. So this is not actually going to be super meaningful. Our jungle is but her garden, our lake is but her drop of rain. You know, this kind of... Badal, 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 they made it out of chrome, and when it's waxed and ready, I'll have a new genome. Okay, yeah, give me that. Let us not take a human corpse. Okay, this is just a standard wide-brimmed hat. Well, we can hear some kind of combat going on. There is first of all, some kind of hat, a lacquered leather cap, pretty sick. Secondly, an acid gas miner up there, probably a thing we shouldn't allow to just run around. So let me get to a position where we have a clean shot on it, and unfortunately, a lot of my bullets are getting absorbed by the scenery here. Random crocodile. It is certainly a measure of our advancement that a crocodile shows up and we could just trivially dispatch it with a single strike now. While visiting an obscure laboratory in Alursur, Omasp met with a group of scientists and commissioned a hypothesis that evoked the presence of a freezing block of ice. She named it Ice's Pet. It's important to have a name for your hypotheses, I guess. Okay, that's a voider. Anxious legs, grown longer in the vacated space around it, ply the mineral dirt. A drop of gastric flux sloshes inside its stomach orb, powering its instinctual rotation of the local ley. Let's just stay out of that thing's way. And web. What are you? A weapon rack. I don't want to get the entire weapon rack. Nor do I want the knife that is stored within it. Well, now, I was told that this was the workshop of a... or that the workshop of a legendary hatter was at least here to be found. Nothing in that basket, nothing in the other basket. Are we sure it wasn't like a legendary chest merchant, chest creator? Because it is certainly, ooh, free glow sphere, hell yeah. Okay, what you just saw over there, that's some voider stuff. That's why we do not touch the voiders. They have some kind of control over the space-time continuum that is, frankly, horrifying to witness. Yep, once again, absolutely nothing. This is all just salt water, right? Yeah, and you're not going to see a bunch of pools of fresh water just laying on the surface. Maybe this is the location of the workshop? The mouths on our skin have mumbled to us the location of Shubak Star. We have so much stuff to look into. Yeah, this is definitely the workshop. A crimson hood, pretty cool. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. Nothing of value in there. I'm not going to take that stuff just in case it would upset the hat merchant. Mostly I'm just curious. This, you know what? This I'll take even if it does upset people. If a merchant wants to fight about it, then I guess we're fighting. Ooh, what is going on here? Oh, you know, just a worm of the earth. Pretty standard kind of worm when you think about it. Worm flesh drags apart into another self. In sunken and lightless grottos of stippled earth, the honeycombed fossil people, a machine whir overlays the slump of the mantle and activates the primal biology of trash maggots everywhere. Cool. So it's a worm, is the thing. There's also a hired glow moth, just a guard. A nullworm who is not a hired guard of the just a nullworm, just like that lives here. How dare you crack my snail shell? Okay. Thing hits hard enough for me to actually care a little bit. That's rad. Silver nugget, hugely worth the trouble of coming here. Also, plasma grenades and a hyper tractor, which I got, but what I meant to do was look, because I don't know what that is. Okay, it is a weapon, a missile weapon. Bow and rifle class. A rifled prism retracts and refocuses light to tunnel things toward its wielder. Sophists call it a here ray. Okay, so it is, yeah, it's a tractor beam. This is a good-ass workshop. There should be, like, a hatter in here somewhere. Alright, none of this thirst thistle nonsense. The chests mostly continue to have nothing in them. Over here, copper nugget, I'll take that. This guy is remarkably chill about people just kind of like helping themselves to all of his wealth. Ah. Nibas, the legendary hatter. He's woven a leather chin strap between his fingers. Loved by the Merchants Guild, disliked by frogs, baboons, admired by the Daughters of Exile, because they sure do love a good hat. What's your deal, Nibas? I don't know that I want to make that trade with you, necessarily. A painted nullworm skull. In 3994 BR, it was discovered that Utafa's life had secretly been saved with cybernetic surgery. Despite reports to the contrary, Utafa was alive and well. She was known thenceforth as the Desiccated Shade. Oh, that's really interesting. And see, and then you have a scaled weird artifact. So this basically has to be some kind of hat, right? Because why else would this guy have it? And that makes me really want to know what it is. I'm so curious about a weird hat. Give me this weird hat, friend. In exchange, I will give you this silver nugget that I found somewhere. Live and drink, live and drink. Okay, nothing in the rest of his stuff. I had a thing I was doing, and we're going to get back to it, I swear to you. Where is my scaled weird object? I must have missed it. I must have scrolled right past it. There's a search function on my inventory, isn't there? Here it is. A scaled nullworm skull. Oh, it has filters on it. That's why it's coming across so weird. So, fitted with filters, protects against breathing in dangerous gases. It also grants the wearer 250 reputation with unshelled reptiles. What is our current? Our current hat is +1 armor, but also -1 dodge, and also -1 to hit in melee. Actually, a nullworm skull with filters is just better. It's just a better thing. A nullworm skull at all is just a better thing. It also gives +1 ego, which is neat. And unshelled reptiles. Love it when you have scales on your head. Okay. Nibas, I'm super glad we met. You're a cool dude. There's some kind of cirrus going on in your base here. I'm gonna leave y'all to it. It seems like a real problem. Anyway, Joppa. Hey Warden, guess what? I brought you secrets. Hell yeah. I shouldn't have told him the location of Bela. I was pressing buttons too quickly. So, we could recruit Warden Irim. Maybe that's a better idea. First of all, Warden Irim has icy vapor magic, and there is something to be said for maybe bringing that kind of person to a battle. The other thing I'm thinking is that because the other Warden is a quest giver, because we currently have a quest, it would be a shame for them to die in combat. So maybe we just recruit you. I don't know. This is where we're going to end the episode, I guess. I'm going to think about this. We're definitely going to spend our Warden reputation recruiting somebody to be a helper, a minion. But I'll give it a little bit of thought as to who. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we're making friends and then getting into an awful lot of trouble and letting our friends die on our behalf. Or not. You know, it's also cool that second part doesn't happen, I guess. And we'll see you then.